Most people are walking targets in the dating game, blindly chasing approval while getting played like pawns on a chessboard you didn't even know existed. But in the next 25 minutes, you'll transform from a desperate chaser into a magnetic force that draws women effortlessly, using timeless principles straight from Machiavelli himself, the master of power dynamics. Backed by centuries of psychological research on human behavior, from evolutionary psychology to modern studies on attraction. This isn't just some fluffy theory. It's battlefield-tested strategies that have shaped leaders, lovers, and legends. If you've ever felt invisible, rejected, or like you're always one step behind in the game of love despite your best efforts, this changes everything. Because today, you learn the hidden rules of attraction that society deliberately keeps buried, turning your vulnerabilities into unbreakable strengths. Picture this. You've been there, right? Pouring your heart into late-night conversations, being the nice guy who listens intently, offers support without asking for anything in return, only to watch her eyes light up for the mysterious bad boy who barely lifts a finger. Or perhaps you've meticulously planned the perfect date. Flowers, a thoughtful restaurant, genuine compliments flowing like wine, and still, you end up squarely in the friend zone while she chases the guy who treats her like just another option in his busy schedule. It's frustrating, isn't it? That sinking feeling of rejection, the confusion of why your sincerity isn't enough. But listen, it's not your fault at all. Society has conditioned you from childhood to believe that honesty, vulnerability, and chivalry are the keys to winning hearts. Movies, books, even well-meaning advice from friends drill this into you. Just be yourself, and the right one will come. Yet in the harsh reality of human attraction, that's precisely what keeps you losing ground. Your noble intentions, your desire to be kind and upfront, get ruthlessly exploited by those who intuitively or deliberately understand the dark undercurrents of desire. The manipulators who play the game while you're still reading the rulebook upside down. We've all been raised on fairy tales of knights in shining armor rescuing damsels, but the truth is starkly different. Attraction isn't fair, it's not egalitarian, and it's certainly not a meritocracy based on goodness. It's a subtle power play, a dance of dominance and intrigue that leaves the unprepared feeling powerless, invisible, and constantly rejected. And if you're sitting there nodding, feeling that emotional drain in your chest, the late nights scrolling through her social media, wondering what you did wrong, you're investing in the right place right now. This isn't about personal weakness or some inherent flaw in you. It's systemic blindness, a societal conditioning that sets good-hearted people up for failure in the arena of love. But stick with me through this, because we're about to rip off the blindfold and flip the entire script, turning your pain into power. Now, let's ground this in something solid. Enter Niccolo Machiavelli, the brilliant 16th-century Italian strategist whose seminal work, The Prince, didn't just revolutionize politics, it laid bare the raw mechanics of power that apply directly to every human interaction, including the art of attraction. Psychological studies echo this timeless wisdom. For instance, evolutionary psychologist David Buss, in his groundbreaking book, The Evolution of Desire, analyzed data from over 10,000 people across 37 cultures, confirming that humans are hardwired for dominance hierarchies. Women, subconsciously, are drawn to men who exude control, mystery, and strategic influence, rather than overt niceness or predictability. Think about it. In the wild, survival favored those who could navigate alliances and rivalries with cunning. And attraction is no different. It's an extension of those primal instincts. This isn't about becoming a villain or embracing immorality for its own sake. It's about understanding universal human behavior patterns that govern desire, patterns that most people ignore at their peril. To make this actionable, we'll break it down into 3 crystal-clear levels. First, recognition. Learning to spot these Machiavellian tactics in the wild so you can see the game before it plays you. Second, protection. Building ironclad defenses with specific counter techniques to shield yourself from being manipulated, overlooked, or emotionally drained. Third, mastery. wielding these principles with finesse to completely flip the power dynamics, making you the one who's pursued. This framework isn't some abstract philosophy gathering dust on a shelf. It's practical, step-by-step applications you can deploy tonight in a text, a date, or a casual encounter, transforming attraction from a frustrating gamble into a calculated, inevitable win. Are you ready to see the Matrix? Because, once you do, there's no going back. All right, let's peel back the layers and dive deep into the psychological mechanism at play here. Machiavelli famously taught in The Prince that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But when we adapt this to attraction, it translates to something profound. Better to be intriguing and elusive than predictable and overly affectionate. The core driver is the scarcity principle, a concept rigorously backed by social psychologist Robert Cialdini's research in his book, Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion. Cialdini demonstrated through experiments that people assign higher value to what's perceived as rare or hard to obtain. Think limited edition items flying off shelves. In dating, most men unwittingly sabotage themselves by violating this. They become over-available, texting back within seconds, showering endless compliments, and revealing their entire life story on the first date. Why do they do this? Because societal conditioning screams, be authentic, be open, vulnerability is strength, without the crucial caveat that raw, unchecked honesty erodes mystery and hands over all the power. Let me illustrate with a real-world case study. Take John, a client I coached, a successful engineer in his 30s. He'd go on dates and immediately share his deepest insecurities, thinking it built emotional intimacy. Result? Women would politely nod, then ghost him or pivot to friendship. The aha moment hit when he realized he was commoditizing himself, making his attention too cheap and attainable, like a discount store item no one craves. Contrast that with historical figures who embodied Machiavellian allure. Giacomo Casanova, the legendary seducer, never chased women outright. He crafted enigmas, dropping hints of adventure and withdrawing just enough to spark pursuit. Now, we ascend to the pinnacle. This is where you transcend mere survival and separate yourself from the masses, becoming the architect of desire. Mastery involves completely flipping the power dynamics, turning you from the pursued to the pursuer's obsession. Start with advanced psychological positioning. Embrace strategic vulnerability, a Machiavellian gem where you appear virtuous and open while remaining cunning and selective. For example, reveal a flaw that's cleverly disguised as a strength. I'm terrible at superficial small talk because I crave those rare, deep connections that actually matter. What's something truly real about you that most people don't know? This draws her in emotionally, positioning you as discerning and high value, not needy. To dominate further, build subtle alliances through ego-tied compliments. Avoid generic praise like, "you're beautiful." Instead say, "You have this quiet intensity that most women try to fake. It's rare and captivating." This anchors to her self-image, making her associate positive feelings with you, as per association principles in cognitive psychology. True psychological superiority stems from cultivating outcome independence. Act as if her approval is a nice bonus, not a necessity. This radiates confidence that borders on magnetic arrogance without crossing into rudeness. Unlike the desperate hordes begging for scraps of attention on dating apps or in bars, you're the enigma they can't resist chasing. Anchor this in history. Machiavelli navigated treacherous Renaissance courts by being indispensable yet elusive, forging loyalties through calculated favors and withdrawals. Apply that to modern dating, and women will view you as the ultimate prize, the one who elevates their status just by association. Separate the truly powerful from everyone else by internalizing this. Power isn't loud domination, it's quiet control. What if I told you this one mindset shift could make you utterly unforgettable, the man she thinks about long after the conversation ends? That's mastery in action, psychological bulletproofing that attracts without overt effort, creating an aura of inevitability around your presence. Pattern interrupt. Pause and visualize yourself in a social setting, deploying these techniques seamlessly. Heads turn, conversations flow toward you. You're not just playing the game, you're rewriting the rules. Theory is great, but let's ground this in the real world with immediately actionable scenarios, showing the stark contrast between the old you and the new you. First scenario, the workplace crush, that colleague who's always on your mind. Old you might compliment her work ethic openly in a team meeting, hoping for reciprocation, but it comes off as try-hard and dilutes your mystery. New you. Notice her achievement subtly in a one-on-one. That presentation you gave, bold move. Not many could pull off that level of conviction without cracking. Then, crucially, pull back. Don't follow up with an immediate invite or more praise. Let the intrigue simmer. Outcome. She initiates the next interaction, perhaps suggesting coffee, drawn inexorably to your restrained power, leading to organic dates outside work. Second scenario. Navigating relationships, especially during heated arguments where emotions run high. Old you. You'd offer constant reassurance, apologizing profusely even if you're right, which weakens your stance and invites more tests. New you. Employ the Machiavellian pause, calmly state, I see your point and it's valid, but let's revisit this when the emotions have cooled a bit. Rushing now won't help either of us. This protects your authority while de-escalating, flipping her from combative to reflective and cooperative, ultimately strengthening the bond through mutuous respect rather than submission. Third scenario, social settings, like a crowded party or networking event. Old you. You'd hover around groups, engaging everyone enthusiastically to avoid being left out, but it scatters your energy and makes you seem ubiquitous. New you. Enter with mysterious poise, converse selectively with high-impact comments, share an intriguing story briefly, then exit early or shift to another circle, creating that, what happened to him? I want to know more, intrigue. Apply this tonight. Pick one tactic, like the delayed texting in an ongoing chat or the teasing challenge in a face-to-face talk, and track the immediate response, her increased curiosity, longer messages, or even direct invitations. You'll witness the empowerment firsthand. From endlessly chasing validation to being the one effortlessly chased, transforming your social and romantic life into a realm of abundance. Before we wrap up, let's address the elephant in the room. This knowledge is potent, even dangerous in the wrong hands, capable of shifting dynamics in ways that could harm if misused. That's why I'm framing it strictly as a protective tool, a shield to guard your heart, build self-respect, and foster genuine connections. Not a weapon for predatory manipulation or ego-driven conquests. You're now initiated into an elite circle, part of the small percentage of men who pierce through the facade of modern dating, seeing the strings of power that puppet most interactions. Ethically, this empowers you to attract authentically, creating relationships rooted in mutual intrigue and respect, rather than deception. Remember Machiavelli's own caution. True strength lies in measured restraint, in using power wisely to elevate, rather than exploit. Wield this with integrity, and you'll not only protect yourself from the pitfalls that ensnare others, but also become a force for positive transformation in your world. You're no longer a victim of the game. You're its enlightened guardian. As we close, take a breath and realize, you're not the same person who clicked play on this video. You've evolved into the strategist who sees the hidden game of desire unfolding everywhere, spotting manipulations before they land and commanding attention with effortless grace. The world of attraction that once crushed your spirit, leaving you questioning your worth? You own it now, dictating terms on your turf. For the next level of mastery, dive into my upcoming video on dark charisma secrets, how to command any room. And end with this timeless Machiavelli quote to etch it in your mind. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. Go forth into your day, protected, powerful, and victorious, ready to attract on your terms.